Hey, I'm at the Vandermeer Tennis Academy, and over the course of last four and a half days, I've been undergoing a program called Tennis University Training, where they train you to become a tennis coach. Now, I joined this program just out of whim. I was here a couple of weeks ago with a bunch of my friends to undergo doubles training for our annual men's tennis getaway. And then I just came to know about this, and luckily my schedule worked out, so I signed up for it. Part of the motivation is I wanted to understand the fundamentals of tennis teaching, and I looked at the syllabus. There was more than enough good stuff for me to come here and spend the time, and I came here. Now, training like this is pretty obvious if you're training to become a tennis coach. And it's a must-have, whether you're training at this academy or any other academy. I would strongly recommend anybody who's aspiring to be a tennis coach. It gives you a couple of years of lessons in a week to get you ahead. But I want to talk about a couple of other situations which I realized when I came over here. Beyond the obvious things that are taught over here, I learned a lot of invaluable, non-tangible learnings that came with it that's not highlighted, and that ended up being far more valuable to me. And I'll call those things out, and then there are two kinds of people for whom I would strongly recommend this course. Now, the first value for me was just being here in an academy setting. As you know, I began tennis about 10 years ago or so, and I've now played 3.5 to 4.0 level USTA, and I want to get better. So even though this is a training session to train you to become a coach, the reality is you have two professionals watching over you for 4 days. And these are top-rated professionals, the top of the line, the head pro and one of the pros over here. And if you look at their hourly rates on the site, it's over $150 an hour. Whereas they are watching you for over 25 hours. While they're not giving you explicit or focused instruction to improve your game, but they're still watching you. And trust me, they cannot help themselves. If they find something very obvious in your technique, they're going to point at, and they're going to help you in a very generous way. And because, end of the day, to be a good coach, you have to be a good player. And you need to show, because showing and so that students can see you is a lot of what tennis coaching is all about. So you, in a way, get free instruction for as you're training to become a coach. This is something I did not actually think I would get, and some of the tips they gave me, like a lot of times even my people I play with can point out to your some of the deficiencies. In fact, I too know some of the deficiencies. Like when it comes to my forehand, I always roll my arm, but I don't know how to fix that. And all it took was a couple of minutes. And what was more informative was hearing the same issue pointed out by multiple people and hearing the corrective techniques. Now I'm going back with a good insight on what to work on. So the free coaching aspect for your game is number one. The second thing is, especially in the summer session of this university, you get to your fellow students. In fact, I and another person were the oldest in this group. Everybody else was less than half our age. Now, these are either elite, very high level, high school or college players. Some of them are playing in D1, D2, D3 level. You get to hit with them. So just the sheer opportunity and privilege of being in the same court with many of them and hitting with them is totally worth the experience. This is something we never get if you're playing in 3.5 or 4.0 level. We just do not know what that game is. So to me, walking away with the in fact, the first couple of days I was unsettled. And there is an academy next door, and you can see there are about 7 or 8 courts over there, and kids playing over there. And if you watch them, and if you just close your eyes, you can mistake this place for a shooting range. Because the shots sound like gunshots. They're going at it crazy. But then when I got with them in the court, and it gives you confidence that you can actually maybe push up a level and play a little level up. Of course, not at their level, but at least plus 0.5 of wherever you are, or plus 1 of wherever you are. It gives you that confidence. So just the sheer privilege of being on the court, same court with those kids, boosted my confidence big time, and assured me that I'm at least on the right track with my tennis journey. And as far as probably a couple of this course, probably people look at it only if they want to become a coach, more for a professional reason. But there are two, being in tennis world for the last 10 years or so, I would strongly recommend it for 2 types of people. If you're one of those, please consider this. One is you're a parent and you have a child whom you're planning to teach so that they could play at high school or middle school or high school level. And in fact, even within my friends also, but even outside the circle, when I walk around the courts in Atlanta area, I see a lot of parents teaching, and sometimes it's painful to watch because they think that they have the fundamentals on and their intent is right, but they're actually doing a great disservice to themselves and their child. There's a huge opportunity cost with tennis. The time it takes, for you and your child, the energy it takes, physically it drains, and if you're willing to invest that much time and energy, you might as well do it right. In 1 week, in fact, I, with my experience, tried to teach a couple of people the fundamentals of tennis, and it was overwhelming. But here, it was truly overwhelming because there are so many elements in tennis, and you're stuck on some things. But here, you get to learn from top people about truly time-tested way of introducing people to tennis and get them going at the shortest possible time. Now, by time tested, I mean this academy has been going for nearly 50 years. So their technique of getting people, the foundations, has matured over time. Like they have this program, I heard it for the first time, called Instant Tennis. And if you even Google it, it's hard to find. You have to Google the right terms. I will put a link to that. That's a program where you get people who have never touched a racket to get comfortable with the fundamental strokes.
Today I'm going to show Rich how he can practice with Kate, and in a space of 30 or 40 minutes she can go through all the progressions of how to play a forehand drive, how to play a forehand volley, how to play a backhand drive, how to play a lob, how to play an overhead smash, and how to serve. All these strokes in 30 or 40 minutes.
If I'm teaching somebody myself, I'm not going to do all that in a single day. I didn't even have the vision of even doing those things. So if you are planning to teach a child, I would strongly recommend you take time and attend a course like this over here or somewhere else, because you'll be taught. But of course, you will need the skill. I don't think anybody who's less than a 3.5 can survive this camp. Okay, but if you're a solid 3.5-ish player, then the skills that you'll develop is, first of all, the most important thing is feeding balls. We spend nearly 2 days on that, developing that skill, and then feeding to some elite athletes, just figuring it out, right? That alone is worth all the money, just the feeding skills you acquire over here. And of course, the second thing is corrective techniques. So if you're astute and if you're a keen listener, you don't listen to watch the coaches say as much. Of course, you do that also, but you observe them and what they are doing. That's a great way to learn, the kind of feedback they are giving, the kind of instructions. So if you observe the coach and try to emulate them, that lesson alone is going to easily give you a year or plus more of your child. It'll get you and your child at least a year plus more right off the beginning. It's like taking an express bus or something like that instead of walking all the way. So why deny yourself and do an injustice to yourself and your kid? And the second thing is, second kind of people whom this can benefit is people like me, 35 or so, 354, who is aspiring to get better. Nowadays you have a lot of tools, and you have video recording tools. I use Swing Vision. Pretty much I record all my matches. And you have tools like Inform or Dotfish or so many other things where you can record and watch. But how do you correct yourself, and how do you know? How do you figure out what's wrong? And again, when you watch a tennis serve, there might be 20 things wrong with that. How do you prioritize? How do you work through that in a gradual way? So you get a lot of insights for those things over here. So in fact, for every coach, I heard somewhere that for every doctor, they themselves should be their number one patient. The same deal for a tennis coach. Think of yourself as a number one student. So how are you going to teach yourself? I think this course gives great insights and where you can actually teach yourself and using the tools. So where my mind is right now was the knowledge I gained over the last 5 years with the technical tools, I think, and of course taking pointed instructions once in a while with some good coaches. I think these three put together is going to help me big time become a better player and enjoy tennis more. So yeah, so I would strongly consider this course or any similar course. Look around. I'm sure there are other universities offering these things, so other academies, but you can't go wrong with Vandermeer just because of the sheer experience of this institution. They absolutely know what they're doing. They run this course at least 4 times a year and be doing it probably for 40 plus years or so. And and of course Hilton Head is a great place just for the value of money. Like even though you're just paying for the instructions, it's very nominal. The whole cost is less than $500 for 5 days of instructions from really like top of the line coaches. But what you get also in return is still the non-tangibles that you don't realize, that is free coaching on your own skill development, spread over 4 days, which is far more effective than a 30-minute coaching session, number one. And the second thing is just being in this academy setting so that the whatever insights you can garnish and soak in. And the third thing is the privilege of hitting with some elite players and getting grounded over there. So yeah, this is an amazing program, and yeah, do consider it and enjoy.